Hello, I'm Sebastian. Welcome to Nine Nar Trees podcast. Today I will summarize and review the book. A Culture of Growth by economic historian Joel Mokyr examines why sustained, self-reinforcing economic growth emerged first in Europe and then spread outward, transforming living standards and technological capabilities. Rather than treating modern growth as an automatic outcome of capital accumulation or geography, Mokyr emphasizes the role of ideas, values, institutions, and the social status of knowledge. Framed as the Graj Schumpeter Lectures, the book connects long-run history with innovation economics, asking how societies came to reward experimentation, tolerate dissent, and circulate useful information across borders. The focus is especially on early modern Europe and the intellectual environment that preceded and accompanied the Industrial Revolution. Mokyr highlights how cultural attitudes toward inquiry and improvement shaped incentives for inventors and entrepreneurs, while competition among states and networks of scholars helped ideas survive political shocks. The result is an accessible argument about the origins of the modern economy that links culture and institutions to technological creativity and growth. I will give you key takeaways from this book. Firstly, why Europe became the cradle of sustained growth. Mokyr centers the question of the Great Enrichment on a specific historical puzzle. Many civilizations achieved impressive prosperity or technical skill, yet only one region developed a persistent engine of innovation that kept raising productivity over centuries. His explanation is not a single cause, but an interaction between political fragmentation, competition, and an unusual openness to new ideas. Europe was divided into many states, which made it harder for any one authority to permanently suppress heterodox thinkers and made it easier for talent and ideas to move to safer jurisdictions. This mobility of people and print helped create a marketplace for ideas where reputations could be built and defended beyond local power structures. The argument also treats Europe as a connected system, with exchange through trade, universities, correspondence, and translation. That connectivity allowed experiments and techniques to diffuse quickly enough to matter. The overall theme is that sustained growth requires more than occasional inventions. It requires institutions and norms that keep producing, selecting, and scaling improvements. Europe, in Mokyr's account, developed this self-reinforcing environment earlier and more decisively than rivals, setting the stage for modern economic growth. Secondly, culture as an innovation technology. A key contribution of the book is the claim that culture should be treated as a practical input into technological change, not as background color. Mokyr explores how beliefs about progress, nature, and human agency can raise or lower the social return to experimentation. When societies view the world as knowable and improvable, and when they treat the pursuit of useful knowledge as respectable, they create powerful incentives for learning and tinkering. This involves more than admiration for geniuses. It includes norms that validate curiosity, encourage debate, and accept that authority can be questioned. Mokyr also highlights the role of persuasion and rhetoric in winning support for novelty. New methods must overcome suspicion, vested interests, and the comfort of tradition. Cultural messages that praise improvement and frame innovation as beneficial make adoption more likely. In this view, culture acts like a technology for generating and diffusing other technologies. It can lower the cost of collaboration, strengthen trust and expertise, and legitimize trial and error. By explaining culture in functional terms, Mokyr provides a way to connect values and attitudes to measurable economic outcomes like productivity growth. Thirdly, the Republic of Letters and the circulation of useful knowledge. Mokyr stresses the importance of transnational communities of scholars, artisans, and educated readers who exchanged ideas and evaluated claims. Often described as the Republic of Letters, these networks mattered because they created communication channels that were broader than any single state, church, or guild. They helped establish credibility through peer assessment, correspondence, and publication, allowing information to be corrected and improved. The printing press and the spread of literacy amplified these effects by making knowledge more portable and less dependent on personal apprenticeship alone. Mokyr's narrative links this communication infrastructure to the ability to recombine insights from different fields, such as natural philosophy, mathematics, and practical mechanics. The payoff was not immediate industrialization everywhere, but a rising stock of accessible knowledge and a greater capacity to turn observations into tools. These networks also provided a kind of insurance. If one region persecuted a thinker or censored a book, the ideas could survive elsewhere and return later. This resilience, combined with cumulative critique and refinement, made progress more likely. The theme is that innovation thrives where information is shared, tested, and preserved across generations and borders. Fourthly, institutions, incentives, and the political economy of progress. While culture is central, Mokyr does not ignore institutions. Instead, he connects them to the rewards and constraints surrounding innovation. Institutional arrangements influence whether inventors can profit, whether entrepreneurs can mobilize capital, and whether new techniques can be deployed without being blocked by monopolies or restrictive rules. Mokyr highlights that the key issue is often not the existence of markets, which were widespread in history, but the specific balance between interests that benefit from change and interests that fear disruption. Political fragmentation in Europe contributed to a competitive environment where rulers sometimes supported innovation for military, fiscal, or prestige reasons. At the same time, the capacity of states to protect property, enforce contracts, and maintain order could reduce uncertainty and encourage investment in new processes. Mokyr also emphasizes that institutions and culture reinforce each other. Institutions can protect free inquiry, while cultural esteem for knowledge can pressure institutions to tolerate dissent. The result is a framework in which modern growth emerges when incentives align with a broader ideological commitment to improvement. Progress becomes a political economy outcome, shaped by coalitions, governance, and the social legitimacy of innovation. Lastly, from Enlightenment ideals to industrial transformation, the book links the intellectual currents of the Enlightenment to the material changes associated with the Industrial Revolution, without claiming a simple one-direction pipeline from philosophy to factories. Mokyr argues that what mattered was a broader shift toward believing in progress, valuing evidence, and expecting that knowledge could generate practical benefits. Enlightenment thinkers did not build steam engines, but they helped elevate the status of inquiry and created a climate where technical improvement could be celebrated rather than dismissed. This climate affected education, publishing, and public debate, widening the audience for scientific and technical ideas. Mokyr also underscores the importance of incrementalism. Industrialization depended on many small improvements, better measurement, refined tools, and the steady diffusion of techniques. A culture of growth sustains this incremental process by encouraging people to search for problems worth solving and by rewarding those who solve them. The topic also highlights contingency. Growth was not guaranteed, and Europe faced real risks of repression, war, and reaction. Mokyr's perspective explains why, despite setbacks, the combination of intellectual openness and practical ambition proved durable enough to generate continuing waves of innovation. In conclusion, this book is best for readers who want to understand the deeper origins of modern prosperity, including students of economic history, innovation studies, political economy, and anyone curious about why the Industrial Revolution happened where and when it did. It will also appeal to policy-minded readers who suspect that growth depends on more than investment rates and technology transfer, because Mokyr shows how values and social incentives shape what kinds of knowledge are produced and adopted. The benefit for a reader's life is a clearer framework for thinking about progress, how openness to debate, respect for expertise, and tolerance for experimentation can compound over time, and how fragile those conditions can be when censorship, monopoly power, or fear of disruption dominates. Compared with similar books that emphasize geography, resources, or a single institutional variable, A Culture of Growth is worth buying because it integrates culture, intellectual networks into lecturance. It offers a persuasive account of growth as a human achievement built on norms and institutions that can be strengthened, defended, or neglected. If you would like to support Joel Mokyr, you can buy the book through the Amazon link I provided in the podcast description. After reading the book, please let me know what you think and share your thoughts. See you around.